Hi everyone, welcome to the Gutshot podcast. I'm your host Shamsul Sam, and with me my friend Syed Akbar.
Good morning.
Good morning everybody. Today, join us for a conversation on a myriad of issues over the last week. We really want to talk about these things from our original perspectives, as you well know. For example, the mayor election proposal, the useless stuff that are being talked in Parliament. Alhamdulillah, inshallah, up to you guys lah. Whichever you guys want, I really don't care. Hanayo on the Bazaar Ramadan issues that she has brought up, and another illegal temple story. Let's just start with that, Syed. Before we start the conversation, please subscribe if you have not, or tell your friends about Gutshot and get them to join in and subscribe. Let us build a thinking movement with our citizens that can shape our thinking, our society, and so that our citizens don't act like sheep to politicians. Let's do that. Yeah, Syed? All right. Syed, let's start. This is going to be like shooting fishes in a barrel. Okay, buddy? Let's start with the first one you want to go with.
The mayoral elections.
Yeah, let's go there.
Yeah.
Come on.
This this topic has suddenly popped up.
Yep.
It's been around for a while, but it has got some traction after the DAP Wilayah or KL DAP had their convention or something last year.
Right.
And then they proposed and adopted the proposal that there should be amendments to the laws whereby the mayor of Kuala Lumpur becomes an elected position. This is the old local council elections debate which has been in the country for a long time, you see. So, of course, it has elicited various kinds of responses from various parties lah. Basically, the view on this is split in two, between Malay politicians and Chinese politicians lah. The DAPs, I think, spoke about the mayoral election in Kuala Lumpur. Okay, the reasons are obvious. There are 13 parliamentary seats in Kuala Lumpur, and of which 11 are held by DAP and friends lah. You know, it has always been like that for a long time. So Kuala Lumpur is mostly a non-Chinese electoral area. Non-Chinese vote predominates in Kuala Lumpur.
Non-Malay or not?
Non-Chinese, non-Malay. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Chinese vote. Yeah, you're right. So the non-Malay vote predominates. Okay, so there are many facets to this discussion. Very simply, the non-Malay vote. By numbers, Malays are majority in Kuala Lumpur and the Klang Valley, I think, by numbers. But by voters, Chinese vote predominates because many Malays are not natural born citizens of Kuala Lumpur, Klang Valley, or even Selangor. They are from outside the state. So many of them maintain their voter registration in their own states lah. So you have Malay people who may be living in KL for tens of years, but they go back to Perak or Kelantan or Johor to vote. So they are registered in their hometowns or where they were born in their states. As a result of which, the voter profile in Kuala Lumpur is very much those who are registered here. This is where the Chinese vote is substantial. So if you're going to have a mayoral election, local council elections in Kuala Lumpur, it is most likely that the Chinese vote will again dominate. Okay, so that's why the Malay politicians, they are wary about this losing political power in Kuala Lumpur. There are numerous reasons, and this is one of them.
Okay.
To me, the more basic one is Kuala Lumpur is a big budget city council. Right. Dewan Bandaraya Kuala Lumpur's budget runs into the billions of ringgit. Yeah. It's big business.
Tens of billions.
It's big business, you know.
Yeah.
So people always, they want a piece of the pie, a slice of the cake, their finger in the cookie jar, whatever. There's a lot of money in Kuala Lumpur.
And those who hold it don't want to let it go.
So not only Kuala Lumpur, DBKL's own budget, but this is Kuala Lumpur. You have a lot of federal projects, here. The MRTs, the second MRT from somewhere to Kajang, the one that Najib built for 40 billion, that runs through Kuala Lumpur. It's not a DBKL project, but it goes through Kuala Lumpur. There's land approvals, land issues, project approval issues. All this adds up to ringgit and cent for somebody somewhere. So it's a lot of power and influence if you manage KL. So of course a lot of people want to get their fingers or hands on it. So these are the motivating factors behind why they would like to have mayoral elections in Kuala Lumpur. Let's call it local council elections lah.
Sure.
But I find this a little bit off lah, because we have been arguing local council elections for a long time. For ages. Local council elections, generic, universal throughout the country. I find it strange that anybody want to have local council elections just for one local council.
Yep.
The
If you want to do it, why don't you do it for the whole country?
Using the same logic, DAP has ruled Penang since 2008.
Why?
Why not start in Penang first?
Right. Okay.
I'll go back to Penang.
Yeah, there you go.
So you see, you can see that the argument is not maybe not well thought through. You can see that there are intentions and other issues behind here, which are pushing this kind of dialogue coming out at so late. The other thing is this is a bit of to me it's wag the dog tail wag the dog.
Yeah.
DAP just got their butts kicked 8-0 in the Sabah state elections.
Yeah.
Right now their popularity is quite low, especially among their traditional Chinese voter base.
Right.
So this is a new issue, can stir up the passions and stir up the supporters again. See, all this.
Love that shit.
So wag the dog is going on too, the way I look at it. Of course, they will not agree, but there are many ways of looking at this. Yesterday, I listened to these guys, the Perikatan Nasional guys, Takyuddin of PAS. He gave a pretty good, reasoning and reply.
Right.
More or less what I just said, because I listened to him last night.
Right.
Which is fair points he raised. The other issue is, which Takyuddin said, we've not had local.
Did he say that in Parliament? I'm just curious.
No, outside Parliament. Every Thursday they have a press conference.
Right.
The Perikatan boys have a press conference in Parliament, but outside not during Parliament session. Outside of Parliament session, they call it the Thursday press conference. So they went through all these points. The other thing that Takyuddin raised was that we have not had local council elections for over 60 years. Yeah. The country has done just
maybe
fine.
50 years.
Country has done okay.
Yeah.
Other countries don't have, like Singapore does not have local council elections. I don't think so. And then the issue is, do we really need it? You see, as we said just now, if you're going to go local council, you should go the whole country.
Yeah.
Why pick and choose?
Yeah. Why didn't we start with Penang, like you rightly put?
Yeah,
they've been in control of that place for donkey years.
If you're going to pick and choose, I would rather pick and choose where I'm already entrenched now, which is Penang. DAP is Penang.
Yeah.
But then,
hey, we both can go there and actually stand for election. I'm from Penang. I born in Penang.
But if it's a rainy day, DAP could lose. It's a risk, isn't it?
Yeah.
The other thing is, like in the US, they have local council elections. They're used to it. Yeah. They even elect their sheriff. The sheriff in the towns.
I know.
They are elected.
Even elect judges.
And judges. They call district judges or circuit judges are elected. So at what level do you want to go down to, in these local council elections? You want to limit it to your mayor? The US does their judges and sheriffs and all that. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not written in stone. It depends on whatever system you want to have. Well, if the people really want to have local council elections, put it to Parliament. And
so this is what they're proposing, though. They want to put it in Parliament. And have that law passed.
But also exercise wisdom and caution, lah, because our country has its own dynamics, which we have to bear in mind. So sometimes it's not just, you can't just simply say democracy allows for it, so we're going to do it. You can do that, but if you're going to create unnecessary anxiety and concerns which may lead to unhappiness and things like that, then you have to think carefully about it.
Syed, I have this point of view. Actually, when this news came about, number one, I thought, as I agree with you that we've been at least more than 50 plus years of no council elections, right? And whether it's been good or bad, that is debatable. But again, my question is why now? And it goes back to this issue about, to me, it is a crystal ball that you brought up, shiny crystal ball. Hey, don't look at my problem here. Here's a new problem.
It's a deflection exercise.
It's a deflection exercise. Yeah. Exactly. And that one stirs up some honeypot, right? But I was actually quite incensed about it, in the sense that I said, we spoke about, Siti Kasim was here the other day, and I said, I asked her, do we need a law for the UEC to be passed so that it is certified as acceptable for a university or for government service or whatever?
Civil service.
Right?
Yeah.
Civil service or whatever. And her answer was very adamant. He said, you don't need to pass a law for that. The minister can pass it. It's all acceptable. Which means that if you need a bit of backing, you say the cabinet passes it. Right? So you have been, DAP, PH has been in government for how long now? That is the easiest thing for you to do with a stroke of pen. You don't need to go to parliament. Right? Why all of a sudden bring up this issue that you have to go to parliament? You got a new shiny toy you're showing people that distract people from looking at the things you cannot deliver, which is easy. Okay? Huh? Right? So that is my point about it. The other point I said about it is about things being delivered. Okay? I digress slightly. Why is the government appealing to the award given to the family or wife of Pastor Koh? They've been awarded, and the judge, our court has concluded that you are at fault and you are liable for this. Sort that out. Why you go and appeal? That to me is a failure of moral compass. All right? So don't show me this mayor politics to deflect from your inability to actually deliver real change that is in your hands to deliver, even not acting. Think about it. I saw Altatunya's family having to pay back money to the government. I saw the government having to, the government appealing Indira Gandhi's children punya case. How morally bankrupt are we? This is, if we cannot even deliver moral compass, don't talk to me about the mayoral election. I'm fed up.
So this thing is, there is no real urgency on this issue. Vis-a-vis the amount of attention and the hype that is being blown up a bit out of proportion. It is actually falls into the category of shrug worthy. You can just shrug it off.
No.
The public.
Yeah, I don't care.
The public doesn't really affect the public.
It doesn't give us anything more.
No, so it's just point to me. It's just like
pointless.
Pointless talk, lah.
Yeah, pointless.
Pointless.
So that being said, that being pointless as it is, shall we stop this pointless discussion on this
no problem
blinking thing?
Let's go to the next one.
Let's go to another part that I think talking about pointless discussions. And actually for me it's actually also pointless coverage by the media. This whole brouhaha about one of our YBs, our representative using what was it? Alhamdulillah in Parliament.
Oh, I heard something about that.
You heard something about that, right? And then a past MP coming up and making an issue of it, right?
It's quite useless discussion.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is the caliber of your representative, number one, and also is the caliber of your media coverage. All right? That's why you come to Gutshot, so that you don't have to hear this kind of coverage. We won't even talk about this. We hope that actually media doesn't cover this bullshit. Okay? But they do. Because why? They love it.
I have some points on this.
Please do, brother.
I mean,
Please
always
do.
The discussions among the politicians, the parliamentarians, a lot of it is, I don't know, it's just a waste of time.
Correct.
I just want to sidetrack a little bit to,
Sure.
the Sabah state elections. Just a couple of minutes on that. It was held in late November last year.
Right.
And now it's been, 3 months in the third, fourth month. What are the changes we are seeing in Sabah after all elections? The people are all back to square one. Nothing has changed. There's been no major structural change. Life goes on. If life sucked before, it still sucks now. If you were the rich and the wealthy before, you are the rich and the wealthy today also. So nothing much has changed. But the pointless, useless discussion keeps going on. This mayoral election. There's this discussion about this one character.
Right.
Whether should he join this party or that party. And the another discussion was he should run for mayor. I mean, the mayor election is just being discussed now. That he should run for mayor, and when he wins it, all right, he'll become mayor of Kuala Lumpur. And after a certain amount of time as mayor, he should run for prime minister. He'll become prime minister. So this is the kind of really useless discussion we have in this country. People waste time. Real issues are not being discussed. As I said, in Sabah, nothing has changed. Their lives have just same as square one, back to square one as before. But they just distract us. It's just all these discussions and debates that pop up here and there. They are just like distractions, from real issues, real problems that are going on in the country.
It seems to me as if it's coming from both sides.
Yeah,
right?
both sides.
It's both
All parties.
One side, if one side doesn't create that issue, and then the other side responds, okay, the other side create an issue that the other side responds, and none of these things that they talk about actually make a difference to our lives.
Because our country is the only country in the world, I did some checking, where although the government has changed 5 times, the policies have not. You talk about new economic policy, everybody was against it 5 prime ministers ago. It's more set in concrete now than ever before. It's still there. Nothing has changed. And now the opposition, is in power. The so-called people.
Let's put it this way. The opposition is in power.
There's a joke, the country is sort of peaceful now. There are less demonstrations on the streets. You know why? All those people who used to demonstrate, they're now in power. So we're out of people who are used to demonstrating in the streets. They're in power now, but nothing has changed. Absolutely nothing has changed. I'd like to repeat this in almost every podcast because I hope that the listeners will sort of have this ingrained in your thinking. 2008, the BN lost 2/3 majority. Did they have a post-mortem to find out what went wrong? No. 10 years later, 2018, they got kicked out. Did they sit down and discuss why we got kicked out? No. 2022, they all got kicked out. They couldn't form a simple majority. It was a hung parliament. Did they make any changes? No. 2023, the 6 states, the ruling coalition got their butts kicked. Sabah elections, the ruling coalition got their butts kicked. Has anyone sat down and thought, why are we losing the elections? What should we do differently? Instead now, they have what I want to finish the point. They have what is called calculator politics now. They're using a calculator. They're thinking that in the next election, if my party, let's say, can get 25 parliamentary seats, the next party whom I can be friendly with, let's say they get 30, and then let's say the party from before, the agenda party, loses badly, but they get 15 seats, so 25, 15, 30, 40, another 30, 70, we can get 70, 75 seats, and then we can get the Sabah Sarawak boys, we can get the 112, and then we can form the government again, and then we give it to the people for another 5 years. This is what they're talking about now.
I know. The funny thing
That's
is,
it.
The funny thing is, I've been looking at podcasts in the country, right? I mean, what we have in the domestics, even on the so-called alternative media landscape that we have, those kind of discussion that political calculator, kan?
The calculator politics.
Politics,
use the
seems
calculator.
to attract a lot of views, and that shows also, in a way, how our people are being led by these dungus,
Yeah.
right? So that's why I keep appealing to our audience. Let's grow this kind of different way of thinking, so that we don't become sheeps to these politicians.
Yeah, even as you said, even the social media, they're talking about how this party should reinvent itself. No, I think you just ask me. I'm a regular person. I'm a voter. I'm a citizen. You ask me, what can I do for you? That's how you reform yourself.
Yeah.
You ask the public, you ask the voters, where did we go wrong? Tell us, what can we do for you? Instead, people are talking how they should reinvent themselves, how they should restructure their this, that. This guy wants to be mayor, and after he becomes mayor, he can be prime minister.
I want to see 5 manifesto item, all right? And you deliver that 5. I've not seen any of that being delivered for as long as I can remember by anybody. Okay? So, now, I mean, obviously, we've got a previous ex-PM of ours, who I think he practically said manifestos doesn't matter,
It's just a manifesto.
It's just a manifesto. Anyway, guys, so let's. I just want to touch also another thing. I mean, that's the thing. You've got the media covering so much of this. Why don't the media play their role in actually highlighting things that we talk about, right? Which is actually more towards what the people want. So with that, I mean, this whole thing about, whatever you want to, a Chinese want to speak in Arabic, using Arabic language, using Quranic language. Come on lah. I go and, every time I see my non-Malay friends, you know what I do? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alright, and they promptly reply to me, Waalaikumsalam. And we all smile, right? So, shut up about that. Anyway, I think there's another thing that has come up in the zeitgeist that seems to be popping up non-stop lah. I think every other half a year, this illegal place of worship, temple or whatever, will come up in our stories. What the hell is going on? Syed, go please.
Yeah,
let's move to that block.
Again, this to me, I've listened to some of these so-called NGOs. They are not being very honest about it.
Ni apa? Melayu punya NGO ke?
Melayu lah, mostly.
Mostly, ya?
All of them are Malay, Muslim NGOs. They are some of these NGOs. I was listening to their press conference. Very emotional. Trying to pull on basically the 2R things, like 3R. The royalties are involved. Race and religion.
And sometimes they pull in on the royalty as well.
They are playing up. They're playing
sentiment.
Sentiment, which I think it is unnecessary, and it should be nipped in the bud. Because why make it such a emotive issue, race and religion? So they are saying that, basically they're targeting Hindu temples. Because a lot of the mention was Kuil. Kuil is referring to the Hindu temple. Maybe there are other temples also. The accusation is that some of them are sitting on land that does not belong to them. Either it is state land or it is other people's private land. Granted, this issue is very old issue in the country.
Right.
The recent issue, I think, was last year about that temple in Jala Masjid, India.
Yeah.
That one is over about 100 years old or something. So these things have been there for a long time. The important thing is, when they were built, these temples were located there, whatever, about 100 years ago, whatever, for a long time. It was not done out of malice. They just put their temples there. For certain communities, it's very easy to set up a place of worship. They just build a small structure with some kind of, their incense and all that. It becomes a temple. And over time, people, add to it and it becomes a bigger temple. There is no malicious thought that this land, it belongs to somebody else, I'm going to put a temple there on purpose. I don't think so. So you must see, there was no malice from the very beginning.
Up in this society.
Yeah, but
we know how the temples come up.
they're everywhere.
Yeah.
But but then it is a real issue. We cannot ignore the other side of the argument.
Right.
They do occupy land that does not belong to them.
Right.
But is there such an urgency that you need to make it a national issue and whip up people's emotions and passions and people's anger, basically, when it's not really an issue? Do you know any temples that are sitting on illegal land near your house or near your place?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
Does it affect you in any way
No.
as a person?
Even if there is,
I
it
don't
doesn't
know.
affect me.
I do not know which temple near my house is legal or illegal. There are temples near my area. And neither does it affect me in any way.
Yeah.
So I really do not know what is the urgency of this issue, other than it being a platform for certain people just to promote themselves, their own agenda. It is wag the dog again lah. So I see that this is unnecessary. Now the other thing is, whether temple or whatever, these are land issues. Land issue is state. It's not a federal issue. And if land is involved, if the land belongs to the state, then it's state land.
Right.
If it's a private land, it's a private matter.
A private matter.
So the private landholder he's got avenues under the law to protect his rights. If somebody builds a temple on, let's say, land that belongs to me, I have avenues according to the law to protect my rights. It's a private matter. The same thing if the state has got land where someone has built a temple. The state has got the avenues under the law and under state authority, jurisdiction, to solve the problem. It is a case by case basis, right? They have to sort it out.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Why do you have to, what they call it in Malay, we say kipas. Why do you have to
fan the flames
and make it a national issue?
I'll tell you a reason. Can I give you a reason?
And they are threatening to organize
a demonstration,
a large-scale demonstration. What for? Sorry, go ahead.
No. I'll tell you what for. It also helps the political party that is using the R, religion and race, to actually say, oh, look. If we are the one championing the race and religion. That's one thing that we have to keep in mind. It's their selling point.
Also, the other point I would like to make is that if you really want to make this an issue, then please do an audit of all the religious houses of worship in the country, not just the Hindu temple. Let's do the Chinese temples, the Christian churches, the Muslim surahs,
the
and
madrasas,
and the mosques.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you go from Perlis to Sabah, they all have more or less. They may have this kind of issues, where something is built on land that does not belong to them. I know for a fact that in a lot of the old estates run by the British, they did build churches, especially Tamil churches, because they were also into converting people into Christianity. You find churches built in some of the very historical, made of wood churches. In Perak, I've seen some. So they exist inside the estates where, they build churches for Tamil Christians to go and worship. It is basically built on land that belongs to the plantation. The British have left. Some of these companies have been sold to other new ownership in Malaysia. So what is the status of those churches? Are you going to go after them also? The same thing goes for surahs and masjids and madrasas, as you say. I'm sure if you go and dig up all these things, there will be issues like this. So what, do you want to make an issue out of it? You want to create a public demonstration? I mean, what is the purpose of this kind of thing? Or are you just saying that, no, we are the majority, we have the right to show our muscles? That's what it is. It boils down to like might is right, So I would advise these people, lay off this issue. If there's someone build a temple on my land, there are avenues open to me under the law.
You negotiate, you go to court.
You go to court, because it is a private matter. You don't create some sort of a nationwide protest movement over an issue that really does not exist.
I think partly the problem also is because when the majority side, whether it's race or religion, that brought up the issue, when they there's the government just let them be, but if on the minority side it becomes an issue, they clamp it down. So when that happens, when that imbalance is happening, it makes these people feels that they are untouchable and they can do whatever they want to do to stoke up flames.
Yeah, I think they have nothing better to do.
Well,
too much free time on their hands.
Too much free time and not smart enough, I think. They can. But they make money by actually stoking all these sentiments.
But it can be dangerous because you are playing with emotions and religious, basically religious fears.
Yeah.
The 3R, the 2R thing
Yeah. But having said that, I mean we are running towards. I think we are coming to the Ramadan period already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Starts on the 18th or 19th.
Yeah. So we'll celebrate Chinese New Year first. So, and after that we'll have Ramadan, and the old good stories of Ramadan Bazaar has been brought up by our YB Hanayo.
Yeah, minister.
Yeah, the minister. You have any points of view on that? On what she has brought up and the issues involved.
Just a few podcasts ago, we spoke about the Bazaar Ramadan.
Yep.
So I hope our discussion had some, some input into whatever has been done. Now, the minister in the PM's department in charge of Wilayah Persekutuan. Before it used to be Minister of Wilayah Persekutuan. Now she's Minister in the PM's department. But she's in charge of Federal Territory. And she came up with a statement on this handling of this Bazaar Ramadan. So basically, YB Hana Yo has said that they have reduced the fees to get this trading the lots for these hawkers and traders, basically for 1 month to sell their goods and items by the roadside These are all hawkers, So because Bazaar Ramadan has become contentious over the years, especially in KL, especially in the Masjid India area, because these cartels they were involved in cornering the licenses through corruption through abuse of power and corruption. They will corner these licenses and permits for these trading lots, and then they on-sell it to the real traders for a much higher price. Like I think Hanayo says that now the fees for the trading license for each spot is about 400 to 500 ringgit for 1 month. But I can tell you, like in places like Masjid India, that license can be sold to a second party. So you
get a resale market for it.
5,000, 10,000. There have been like 15,000, even higher in the old days. So there is a very lucrative market there. And so that's where the cartels come in, and cartels they are invariably connected to the people who are in charge of issuing these permits and licenses, the local authority guys. Corruption So they corner the market, then they on-sell it to the genuine traders. So YB Hana Yo has come up with a method this year which she thinks is quite foolproof, meaning that when people apply, they only need to pay 500 ringgit, and then they will get the license and they can trade So she says she's removing the middleman guys and the cartels overcoming that. Let me give some advice to YB Hana Yo. I used to be the deputy chairman of something called the Majlis Bertindak Kawasan Masjid India, which was basically a traders, the businessmen's organization in Masjid India in the old days, from the time of Abdullah Badawi. The chairman was Dato Amir Ali Maidin, and we spent a lot of time, taking up this issue with the government, basically with DBKL. There were some successes. So over the years, different ministers of Federal Territory, Wilayah, Menteri Wilayah Persekutuan, came up with various schemes, to to be more transparent, things like that, to cut out the same issue, to cut out the middleman, to cut out the cartels, things like that lah. But not all of them worked very well. At one time, they even had this system called where the people who apply for the trading permit, they are given a photo ID, and the photo ID will hang in the place where they are trading, so that the person who actually got the license to trade
is the one
in the picture.
Yeah.
But you will be surprised. One of the pictures was at that time the wife of a deputy minister.
Serious?
Yeah, I took a picture of it at that time. Things like this happen. So they just put the picture there, and then of course she won't be there to run the business. Somebody else is doing it. It's already been sold many times. Though, meaning there's no enforcement. So what? You hang a picture there. If there's no enforcement, then it doesn't work, isn't it? Nobody cares. Then after the first week, all the pictures disappear. So because in Malaysia enforcement is very, very weak,
selective
very
as
weak.
well,
You're not gonna cancel a permit after 1 week. The guy has paid whatever he has paid money, and then you come here and say, hey, you're not the guy in the picture. I'm going to cancel your permit. I think that it's not going to happen. Bottom line is like this. In Masjid India at that time. Well, we've left Masjid India a few years now, but at that time, every year in Masjid India, the ground zero of the Bazaar Ramadan, certain slots are very sought after, and they will be occupied by the same people every year, the same faces. So there was these people, the most expensive lots. They sell these paper flowers and the plastic flowers, which is a very popular item for the Hari Raya lah. People buy plastic flowers, paper flowers for decoration and all that. So the guys who sold these paper flowers and these plastic flowers, they occupied a particular spot in Jalan Masjid India. And every year, no matter what system you had, no matter what transparent, drawing the lots to make sure people they are a very random and very transparent method of choosing the lots. The same fellas, no matter what system they use, the same fellow will end up at that slot, at that particular slot. So how does that happen? Meaning that the cartels are still in business lah. So my advice to YB Hanayo is, you should ask the people on the street lah. If the same fella gets the same slot this year as they did last year, that means your system is not working. That means the cartels are still in place. How can the same guy get the same slot every year? And then you had other guys selling certain kinds of, the Raya cookies and all that. The same guys, I'm talking about Masjid India in those days, they will appear in the same slot every year. Meaning that no matter what system they had, the same guy,
nothing happens.
That means the same guy, he paid for it. So the cartels are still there. So the acid test for YB Hanayo, the acid test, if the same person appears in the same slot this year as they did last year, your system is not working. Of course, you wouldn't know because she's just minister this year. I don't think she knows what went on in Masjid India last year. But if you ask the local people, they will tell you. So that's the acid test. This game is a bit difficult to overcome because the thing is quite corrupted all the way. The rot is inside, the termites are inside the house. That's where you have to fix. Those are the issues you have to fix, which have not been fixed. This talk about the mayoral election, maybe it's related, but you see the thing about the DBKL, for example, DBKL has got its own, they call it their own service. It's not part of the larger civil service. It doesn't come under JPA. They have their own loop, they call it, because the mayor is appointed directly by the king, by the Agong. And so the entire DBKL has got its own system of they're not part of the larger civil service in the sense that, the salary schemes are all pretty much, I think, the same, but they have their own authority. So it's you cannot transfer somebody out or fire people or, inside the DBKL. It's a bit more complicated. So these are the things that need to be changed. We have to make the DBKL more answerable, and you have to be able to take action, especially in changing people around, transferring people around, which may be more effective in fixing things in the DBKL.
I wonder, just a thought ran through my mind is that one of the biggest problem to start off with is that if you want to find a solution, since this is going to be maybe a couple of weeks to go before the Ramadan happens.
Yeah, I think by now they would have awarded they would have
So
done they call it the
why-
cabut lah. They would have done it.
I mean, you think about it, right? Why you have one photo? You're gonna have four. You're gonna have at least probably 2 shifts or even 4 shifts.
Well, that's my idea. What happened before? I do not know if they're doing it now, so it's not fair to say that they're going to have the photo system. I don't think so. But this, what I'm saying is what they had last time.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Well, I mean, if
It
you
didn't
have,
work.
let's put it this way. I think it should be a lottery system that is open to public. There's even the submission, right? I almost feel like this, right? The submission also has to be public, and it cannot be done behind the closed doors anymore. Because when it's done behind closed doors, then actually it's going to be manipulated behind closed doors.
In the past, from what I hear, this is from the street, street talk. The cartel,
Allegedly.
the cartel people, allegedly,
Yeah.
the cartel people, they can fill up hundreds of applications overnight. They have people.
Yeah.
They can collect names and IC numbers. They can have dubious traders associations. This Bumiputra Traders Association, that association. And then coming as legitimate traders, and they have names, real names with IC numbers and everything, and applying for licenses. Hundreds of them. They can mobilize their resources because it's too lucrative.
Yeah.
It's too lucrative. And you can find these people to do all these things.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a long haul. Well, I wish
the
wish
fact
all
that
the best.
it's only talked about in less than 2 weeks, in about 2 weeks before it, doesn't give me much confidence, to be honest. If you're going to talk about it, you talk about it 6 months before this happens. And then you tell us what exactly are you going to do. Lowering prices is not the answer. Because why? Whilst lowering prices is is one step, but lowering prices does not stop reselling of actually those.
There are a couple of things here, lah. You see, last time when my wife and I were doing business in Masjid India, the most popular places are at the foot of the escalator going into the Maidin department store, because that's a very popular department store. A lot of people will come there for shopping. That's where these Bazaar Ramadan traders want to put their stall to capture the people coming out of Maidin. So that particular spot would go for like more than 10,000, 15,000 ringgit for that 1 month, and they're very popular. And then you also have that one portion in front of the Hanifa department store, where the 5 foot way is quite wide. Also popular, extremely popular. So there are these different spots that are, which we command higher premiums, like rental. My suggestion is take out the Bazaar Ramadan from all these shopping areas, and you create a new area. It's just that within the same area there are so many other roads and so many locations, and you cordon off an area, and then you set it up there, away from all these, highly sought after locations, which leads to all this wrongdoing and buying and selling of the licenses and permits and all that. I have suggested before, when I was with the Majlis Bertindak, why don't for 1 month you decorate the Dataran Merdeka, Dataran Merdeka there, you decorate the whole place, put up proper, like very attractive kind of things, and then put the stalls there for a month with lights and maybe some music, although in the fasting month, I don't know, that's a good suggestion, but make it something nice so that even the tourists can come, and then you're not obstructing anybody, you see. The Dataran Merdeka, the huge padang there, not only the padang, okay, if you don't want to kill the grass, there's enough concrete space on all sides. If you set it up properly, you can have a nice Bazaar Ramadan there without causing so much havoc and without creating so much of this corruption, So there are many ways to skin this cat. But if you insist that no, we got to have the Bazaar Ramadan right outside the major supermarkets located there, then you're looking for trouble.
Well, actually, you asked me, Syed, to be honest with you, I think no matter where you put it, Okay, because just the event itself that is only going to happen once a year, all right, is already going to be a lucrative a lucrative situation. No matter where you put it, right? So it's not just in Masjid India itself. It's also in Taman Tun. It's also in Shah Alam,
Bangi,
wherever,
everywhere. So many places now.
Right.
So
and
many places.
we know that whenever there is honey, there's going to be ants, right?
Yep.
And the ants will resell it to others. We don't know how many hands that. So the system, I would have loved actually if the minister had already come out and said, these are my plans. 1, 2, 3, 4, in order to actually make sure that there is no corruption,
and then
the real traders actually gets it.
Okay, the minister and her friends, they're all politicians, and the DAP is losing elections, and you just lost 8-0 in Sabah. I'm telling you, in this Bazaar Ramadan, the traders get taken for a ride. I've known so many fellas, we used to be neighbors. I mean, they're trading right in front of my shop. We'll talk to them. Say, the end of the month, I'll ask them, how did you do? The guy will say, I barely got back my modal. I just barely got back my capital. And because there's so many of them, it's competition. So at the end of the day, the traders become, they are the suckers.
Yeah.
They get taken for a ride. There's a bitter taste in their mouth because they paid so much, 5,000, 10,000. And you may not make that amount of money from a roadside business, So not everybody makes money, and people end up with a bitter taste. And then you find that every year there are those faces that disappear. They tried their luck, they couldn't make the money because they had to pay so much to these middleman cartels. So they lost money. And of course, when they lose money,
the photo is still the same person.
And they lost money, and of course, when they lose money, they don't vote for you anymore. They become bitter. So who benefits? The cartel fellas who are all poor politically connected at that time. I can mention the party, but maybe no names. That agenda party. The party full of agendas. That was a cartel at that time. So you lose votes because the traders end up getting the short end of the stick.
So I think it all goes down back and forth, back this way. I want to end this podcast in one thing actually, that is when we talk about all these nonsense issues and even this Bazaar Ramadan. If you ask me, the only issue that I think is worth talking about today, to be honest, all right, we talk about the other issues because we want to point out the ludicrousness of the issues that is happening, and that is being highlighted in our mainstream media, and that's been talked about non-stop in other avenues. But the only ones that actually I would have felt worthwhile talking is this Bazaar Ramadan and what could have been done for it, because it not only affect DBKL, Bazaar Ramadan, but also everywhere across the country.
Throughout.
And there is a huge not just corruption opportunity, but also it impacts it impacts the people who truly wants to do business, and how citizens are impacted, right? So I think this is my frustration, and why to some extent some people ask me why am I doing this, is because I see that real important issues are not being discussed, and instead we have to deal with issues that are,
I want to be mayor.
Let's do the mayor thing here, when important things like, hey, we've got children that can, or youth that can go because they are qualified but are not allowed to go in because they are of a different race and they go through a different certification process. Which actually, if you get somebody from overseas, let's say we are importing a lot of foreign students. Does any of them take SPM?
You're talking about the UEC lah.
Yeah. So the real issues are not being discussed. Instead, what is being discussed, some poor sort, using Arabic.
So to cap the discussion,
my point is, cap the discussion.
My point is, I'm going to tell people, kick them out. That's it.
Yeah.
We are a democracy. Now, whatever the next election comes, and just kick them out. They're not delivering. They're talking rubbish. They're wasting time. The politicians are the cause of a lot of the problems in the country, and many of them are in it for themselves.
Yep.
They're not in it for you or for me, lah.
Yep.
They have absolutely no concerns about you or me. They are in it only for themselves. That is why the problems don't get solved. So this is a problem in the country, and it boils. At the end of the day, it's our fault. It's our fault.
It is our fault.
We are a democracy.
Yeah.
If after 50 years, 60 years, this crap is still going on, then it's our fault. We are not using our rights, our all the avenues that we have, mostly through the polls, to set things right. If 50 years, 60 years, we are still not able to set things right in this country. That is the purpose of a democracy. If we cannot do things right, then we only have no one else to blame except ourselves. So please be informed. Please be well informed about what is going on around us. We have to really get over this racial identities and silo thinking and tunnel thinking. There are issues that will affect all of us, like it or not, equally. As long as you have 2 arms and 2 legs, you live in this country, the same problems will affect all of us, and many of these problems are caused by the politics and the politicians. So the sooner we realize this and overcome this and start thinking as people, as human beings, as Malaysians, the sooner we will get over our problems. If we do not, they will divide and rule us, stand on our shoulders and piss on our heads.
Yeah.
Which is what they're doing now.
I will add one thing. I almost want to think, I don't know what you feel about it, is that I feel like I think we should demand 5 items from our elected representative, 5 concrete items that they want to achieve. Very simple. 5 concrete items that are achievable, specific, within 12 months. All right. So if you have, we should be asking, and I think the mainstream media, when they interview the Prime Minister, interview the Minister, they should ask from right now, give me 5 items you want to achieve this year. 5 items that the people are gonna get impacted immediately and benefit. And then let's see whether they can do it or not. Or at the very least, try to get it done. Otherwise, they keep pissing, like what Syed was saying, they keep pissing on our heads because they don't care. Thank you so much. We'll see you again.
Thank you.